Hi everyone. Last time I was making a very simple demo game just to try to put my engine to the test and see what it's capable of doing. And it is capable of so far making a very simple game where you have a guy jumping over floating monkey heads, and if the guy hits one of the heads, then it's game over. You have to press R and then the game restarts. That's it. That's the game so far. So today I'm going to continue working on that, putting a little polish on it, and then. But most importantly, what I want to do is really start to build up my to-do list. Start to identify all the things that I need to make the game better and make it easier to work on, and start putting that in my to-do list so that in the future I'll have plenty of stuff to work on. So, like one thing I know off the top of my head, just looking at this, that blue sky background is really boring and mundane. So one thing I want to add on here is skybox rendering. And I got this canvas renderer here. That's really close to on my to-do list. But with that, once that's done, I'm going to need some kind of GUI system so that I can make editing things a lot easier. So there's two things right off the bat. Another thing I would like is when I create my window, I just arbitrarily chose, in fact, still just hard-coded in there, this 100-100 to be the starting position of the window. But I would prefer it if the window just starts in the middle of the screen. So I don't think that's going to take too long. I might just do that now instead of adding it on the to-do list. Let me see. Let me check the docs here and see how well it's going to cooperate with me here. So if I just put here monitor size. What about monitor resolution? High resolution time steps. That's another thing I needed to do is fix my timing. Let me see. Get system metrics. That looks like what I was thinking of. Okay, so call this function. It gives you back an int, but then you pass in an int for a flag as to what it is you want. Now I just got to figure out which one of these will give me the monitor width. CX screen, is that it? The width of the screen and the primary monitor in pixels. That seems like what I want. Let me check. Let me take a look here. So before this, what I want to do is, what is it? It's an int, right? So sine 32. Let's say screen width is equal to get system metrics. And then what was it again? CX size frame or CX screen, that's what it was. All right, so if I compile that, set a breakpoint here, run the debugger, screen width is equal to 1920. Yes, that is my monitor's resolution. That seems like it's what I want. So let me go ahead and do the same for the height here. So that's going to be CY, I imagine. Yeah, 1920 by 1080, perfect. So that means I can now figure out the starting X and Y. So let me put here S32 screen X is, so that's the screen width divided by 2. Actually, it's an integer, I can just shift it by 1. Same thing. So I divide it by 2, and then I'm going to subtract window width, also divided by 2. Actually, just minus half window width. And basically, sy is going to be the same, just replacing the word width with height. And so if I replace this 100 with sx and sy, that should put my window right in the middle. If I know how to spell things, that should be a capital H. There we go, right there in the middle. And I also want to make it a little bigger. Let me beef it up here. Let's do what, I don't know, 1200 by 675. Still, I think that's 16 by 9, or close to it. There we go. So the next thing I wanted to fix, I don't know if you can pick it up on the stream, but it's very choppy. It's not smooth at all. In fact, I bet you. So I'm going to print out what the delta time is. And ideally, you would want it to be at 0.016, right? Because that's 60 frames a second. I doubt that I'm going to get that, though. But we'll see. So %f, I'll print it out to 4 decimal places. And we want states delta time. Yeah, so it's wigging out. I don't know if you can tell, but it's supposed to be at 0.016 consistently. And I know, like, I wrote crap code. I'm not trying to say that, like, this is as optimal as it can be. It's definitely not. But I definitely didn't write enough crap code to make it not render at 60 frames a second, especially when it's this. Like, this is the only thing I got. I got 3 things on the screen being rendered, and that's it. So that tells me something's wrong with my delta time. And my suspicion is that this get tick count is not as accurate as I want it to be. So I think I was hoping I could get away with doing the timing in milliseconds, but I think I need something more precise than that. So let me take a look at what they got here. Let me just put function timing. See what comes up here. Time functions. Get system time. Query performance counter. I think this is what I want. I think this will give me something. Retrieves the current value of the performance counter, which is a high resolution, less than 1, is that microsecond? Picosecond? I don't know. Timestamp that can be used for time interval measurements. Okay, so it takes in a large integer pointer. It'll fill it with the performance count or whatever, and it returns a bool for just to tell it if it succeeds or not. All right, I'm gonna worry about error checking later. I'm gonna change everything. Not everything. I'm gonna change the way I do timing though. So I'm gonna might have to make that a double, but I'm gonna keep it a float for now. And then so end time is now gonna be large integer like that. And start time as well, so those no longer that. Oh, I also think I need the performance frequency too. So let me do this first. So that's going to be the start time, and the end time is also going to be query performance counter. Retrieves the frequency of the performance counter. The frequency of the performance counter is fixed at system boot. Okay, so I don't need to do that every frame. But I definitely need that information. So let me do this here. Go back to top here, and then I'll say another large integer. I'll call this performance frequency. And that's that, and that's going to be the address of performance frequency. Okay, so when I'm now calculating the delta time, I want the end times quad part minus the start times quad part, and then I want to divide that by an F32 version of the performance frequency. Okay, so let's see if that does anything. Besides break, cannot convert from large integer to F32, 935. Oh yeah, that would also need to be the quad part. Yeah, that's a lot better actually. It's I mean, yeah, it's 1 point or 0, yeah, 0.016666666. So eventually, I mean, every once in a while it'll be a 7, but sometimes it looks like it's turning into a 5, but I don't know. But it definitely looks a lot smoother. It's not choppy as it was before, so that's cool. I like that I fixed that. And I need to fix my game over text so that it's more universal. Let me see. Let me put away here. Make text positioning scale with window. I don't know, that might be really hard to do. I don't know if that's really that high priority. Okay, so what else do I need? I don't want to fix this jumping. It's too moon-like. Let me make it a little bit more Earth-like, I guess. So I think I need to up the gravity a lot. Let me just really crank it up to -100 and see what happens. Okay. So that makes it really hard for him to jump. So now if I just boost his jump velocity, let's do, I don't know, what, half? There we go. Definitely less moon-like, but not very realistic either. So let me put that at 30. What happens then? I guess it's a little bit better. Let me put a box around the terrain. So that's a debug cube. Yeah, that's that one here. So just change that to debug box, and then I think all I have to add is a line width. So let's put 0.25. And let's make it darker too. Let's just do half of everything. 0.25. 1. There we go. So now I can tell what it is I'm looking at. Other Okay, so it's a little bit better. Not really too concerned with that at the moment. What I should do is make some kind of title screen, some kind of opening state so that it doesn't just boom right with the game. So I think I'm going to make game states in my game state. Does that make any sense? What if I did this? I don't know what I'm doing, but let's just see. So make an enum. Let me do this here. Make an enum for, well, let's put it all the way at the top. I'll call it game modes. I'm probably going to change this, but so we need like an intro mode. Let me go ahead and put total modes here. You know what? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change it to game mode intro. Oh, it's a little bit more properly named there. So then we got game mode playing. So that's when you're actually playing the game. Then we got game mode over, so that's when you die. And then we got game mode debug, so that's when you're debugging. And then down here I'll put game mode total, so that's how many game modes there are total in case I need that later. And so of course here in my game state we're going to add a game mode. I really need to figure out the ordering of which I want to do everything. I think this works like this. Mode. Does that not work like that? Unknown override specifier. Forget how enums work. Oh, it's game modes. Okay, everything's good there. Let's go back to the update game state. So the way I'm doing this is basically, it's going to change. So if it's not initialized, go ahead and do all that. Okay, so if they're in debug mode, this is what I need. And then if they're in playing, then I need this stuff here. I think I need this as well. Maybe not. I think I'm going to keep that there. Okay, so then yeah, now I need to check for game over mode. And so that's going to be all this. And so this, okay, so that's separate. Let's try this. Let's see what I did. Let's see how much I broke it. I compiled, that's good. Okay, so I'm not initializing what state the game is in, so I should probably do that. Let's start the game state. Start it in playing mode. There we go. Alright, so then when I die, okay, so then check for player collision. So if the player does collide, then instead of setting the game over to true, we want to set the mode equal to game mode state over. There we go. Pressing 1 just initializes it, game state, so that'll put it back into game mode. So now I need to figure out how to make, oh yeah, so debug mode should be different then. So now when I press the B key, I'm gonna, instead of setting B to debug mode, I'm gonna check if state mode does not equal game mode debug, else that, so okay, so that should fix that, I think. So if I now play in the game, oh, I need to debug something, I press B, I go to debug mode, but now my camera's all broken. Oh, it's probably because I moved the position of the window. Let me go fix that now. Oh, okay, yeah, so that would be because of this now. So I would have to now check if mode equals game mode debug. There we go. So hopefully that fixed that. Yeah, it did. Okay, great. Alright, I'm done debugging. Go back to game mode. Oh, wait. I press B, but it doesn't go back to game mode. Why is that? So I press B once. If I am in debug mode, make it go to debug mode. If I'm not in debug mode, I should probably remember what mode I was in. Or am I going to say that you could only go to debug mode from game mode, from the playing mode? That doesn't seem right. You should probably go to debug mode from any time. You know what, I'm just going to say when you come out of debug mode, you're going to have to start the game all over. Just for now. Alright, so I'm playing. Oh, I gotta debug something. I'm done debugging. Go back. Restarts. Okay, a little bit of a dumb hack, but whatever. Who cares? Okay, so now the whole point I started this thing was because I wanted to make a intro mode. So now let me say, I don't need that, I don't think. Okay, so then here, all I'm gonna do is just add some text. Okay, so all I did was just made the intro, state, play, just the game, generic game title, and then press enter to begin. So then I think if I change this to intro, should go back to the game. Okay, so the part where I'm rendering the textured meshes, all the stuff actually, should only happen in playing mode. Game title, press space to begin. I died. All right, cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna make this another function here. I'm gonna say static. No, never mind. We'll do that maybe later. Because I still want to play the game state during game over mode, or I still want to render everything. So let me just do the cheese way and just put all that stuff there. Game over. Press R to restart. Game. Okay. So now, okay, so now when I press R to restart, instead of doing the whole reinitializing the game state, because I don't want it to go back to intro mode, I'm just gonna reset everything you need manually. So which is basically just the position of the obstacle. And then just tell the game state to put its mode equal to, geez, there we go. Game mode, playing, yeah. Oh, and I need to set the clear color equal to whatever it was originally, which I don't even know. There we go. Okay, so that should fix that. Game title, press space to begin. That's good, that's good. Okay, cool. So now I probably just need some kind of scoring system. And I need to vary the difficulty because it's very rhythmatic. You can program a bot to beat this game very easily. Although I can do that all day. Alright, so what do I need? I need some kind of score. I'm going to just copy what the original Google dinosaur jumping game does and just print out the time as the score. So let's see. Actually, it'll be a unsigned int. It's only going to be whole numbers. It's only going to be positive numbers. So yeah, so let's just make a float for game time. And then so that gets initialized to 0. Actually, I need to initialize it to 0. So states game time is 0. And then every frame, we want to increase game time by the delta time. There we go. And then so the score is just going to be the whole number portion of the game time. Yeah, it's cool. But it's a little boring counting by seconds, so I'm going to take the game time times 100. All right, cool. But I only need to do that when you're playing the game. Actually, I only need to increase it when I'm playing the game also. Alright, so when you're playing the game, yeah, sure, after all that stuff, you're going to get your score increased. Oops. Whoa, what happened? The debug mode is broken. Uh-oh. Oh well, not really that important. I don't need to debug anything right now anyway. But yeah, let's fix that text here. Let's make it say something and reason. All right, game title, press space to begin. Should do that. Okay, so I'm gonna put the the score. I'm not gonna debug print that. I'm gonna actually just add it as I normally would. Oh yeah, I gotta build the string because I can't do that here. Let's see here. So is it create debug string? And then so I need a buffer. Let's make a little tiny buffer here. S8, call it buff 32. So then when I create the debug buffer, I'm gonna pass in the buffer. And then the text I want to add with the buffer, which is score %I. And then, oh, you know what? I can't do that. At least not right now. I can do this though. So I changed this create debug string to no longer take a var args, but then I realized that I can do both. I can have it take in a VA list and the var args. So all I need to do is copy what I did here. Almost all that. So just make everything match. I don't need that. That should be buffer text. Okay, so that should be all I need to do. And then I can now build my own strings. Oops, something happened. Oh yeah, I was in the middle of doing this here. There we go. Yeah, okay, I didn't finish this. So yeah, that's gonna be the state score. Okay, so then I need to add this to the buffer. So that's gonna be the string, which is buff. Where should I put this? I don't know. Let's put it somewhere for now. Let's see, 550, scale 3, vector 4. I don't know. I'll just make it black. I guess that's good enough. All right, and you die. Okay, so I want the score to also show up when you die. So let's do that. Okay, so I'll just do that there. And then in this case, I want it to be red. $228. All right. So that gives me another idea for something I need to add. Writing to files. So if you want to save the high score, that's probably going to be high on your priority list there. Oh, the score is not getting reset. I need to do that. What the heck? State score. Oh, yeah, I need to also reset the game time as well. It's kind of dumb I'm having to do this in 2 different spots, so that's definitely something I should try to avoid. There it goes. All right, so I was gonna work on making it more difficult. I don't really feel like trying to mess with that right now. So what I want to do instead is I'm gonna make it so that I'm gonna add a second key. In fact, I'm gonna change the key that you use currently from spacebar to be the W key. And I'm gonna make it so that when you press the S key, it'll go down faster. So like you can, like the original Google Dinosaur game has that ability. Like when you press down, it makes you drop straight to the ground. So I'm gonna do that too. But before I did that, I wanted to do something I completely forgot. It was during the playing mode. Oh, that's right. I wanted to change the jump key to be W. Oh, that's in my update player though. Okay, so now if I'm jumping, so that's if the player's not jumping. So here's if player is jumping, if the player's position, so that's the case. So then here I'm going to say else, so if the player's position is greater than 0, and so else, I guess else if would be in order. So if, I'm going to need the key codes here. So let's say, I don't know, it's a bool pointer. Key inputs is equal to the state's key inputs. And so if key inputs at key S, so if they press the S key, then what do I need to do? I want to increase the Y position, actually decrease it. So not the Y position, but the Y velocity. All right, I'm just gonna pick some arbitrary number like 5 for now and see if that has any effect. Yeah, it's working. Let me give him more jump velocity so we can really see the effect there. I keep forgetting I don't need to recompile the whole thing. Woo. Yeah, so now I could control my jump height a lot better. Okay. That was a silly amount, so let's put that back to what it was. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It's still far from being a polished game, but it's getting there. And I'm getting a list of all the things I need to do to really make this function. So I think next time I'm going to make the game more difficult. So have probably something fly at the top too, so that you have to duck at the right time to avoid that. Or I guess duck's not the right word, but to like not stay in the air for the right amount of time. I don't know. Basically, I'm just gonna toy with the gameplay next time and see if I can make it actually fun and not this. So hopefully I'll have fun making it fun. All right, but let me save what I got here so it doesn't get lost in the ether. Progress on game. All right, that's that. Thank you, everybody. See you next time.